All right, hi everyone. Welcome back to another day in the life of DevRel. In the previous video, we took a look at the process that I planned out for writing writing this article. Title is Hedera blockchain or not a blockchain. So here's a bunch of to-dos, and let's get right into it. So we start off with draft article number 1. Right, which is this one. And the next step is going to be to prompt ChatGPT with the following. So let's begin. I am going to choose to use ChatGPT rather than Hedera HiveMind. Just want the generic ChatGPT. 4.0 is the version of it right now. And yeah, okay, so let's begin. So the first one is ChatGPT's got a role of being the editor. All right, so that's my next instruction. After saying, hey, I'd like you to act as an experienced editor at a newspaper. Say, I'm going to provide you with my draft and I would like feedback, specific types of feedback I'm looking for, and, 2 opinions and 2 suggestions type things. And then 2 important, sort of meta instructions to quote specific things that are referred to when it says, okay, change X, say, okay, so what was X originally, right? Like change this to Y, but say, instead of that saying, say, change X to Y, right? And then the next thing is, do not rewrite the article. The reason why I'm saying do not rewrite is for a couple of reasons. I've noticed that ChatGPT gets mixed up. And it forgets some of its instructions when I ask it to rewrite the whole thing. And also sometimes ChatGPT, it stalls halfway through, the cursor just blinks in the middle of the output and doesn't budge. So those are 2 main reasons that I say do not rewrite the article from a technical point of view. From a sort of the flow or the process flow kind of reasons, there's also one, which is that I would like to intercept the feedback and reject or maybe further provide my own feedback and then say, okay, so then act on this feedback instead. I don't want it to be automatic, right? Okay, so now I'm going to put in the first draft. So draft of article 1, is there a blockchain or not a blockchain? Okay, so let's review the feedback. Clear definitions and explanations. Okay, take that as a compliment. Comparative analysis. Okay, I'll take that. Structured argument, logical flow, right, to provide balance view. Yep, I'll take that. Technical insights, adds depth. Great. So it looks like it's followed the instructions and quoting specific sentences or phrases, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I'm glad I prompted it with that instruction. Right, for weaknesses, lack of flow. Okay, I'll take this one. So it needs a segue basically for sections such as that. Yes, okay. So this one I'm sitting on a bit on the fence with, like the data structures revisited. The section titles are the same, but the content is different. So yeah. I'll consider it. Yes, there is some repetition, so maybe yeah, get rid of the repetition. Abrupt transitions. Okay. So the note sections are kind of intended to be asides, like like in a little info box or something. Maybe that should be put inside an appendix at the bottom or something. Yes, these to-dos have not been done. Obviously, those need to be done before the article gets published. All right, suggestions for improvement. Transition sentences, okay, segues. Reduce repetition, okay, merge them. Not too sure that merging is the appropriate fix here. I think they should not be merged, but rather they should remain as two separate sections, but they should be more differentiated from each other and less repetitive from each other. That's how I do it. Okay, so reduce the overlap between the two, essentially. Smooth transitions. Okay, that's sort of the same thing, like 1 and 3 are relatively the same. Complete to-dos, yeah, no question there. Clarify complex concepts. Right, okay, so the intent with this article, it will get really long if I explain everything, such as fair transaction ordering, gossip, etc. Like I'd end up explaining the entire hash graph algorithm, which I do not want to do. Instead, I will link to it. So in terms of suggestions for improvement, I'd say these two data structure sections, rather than merging them, I think the appropriate action would be to keep them, but to make them more distinct from each other in terms of what's the content. In terms of complex concepts, instead of providing a brief analogy, etc., I would rather link to it. Or perhaps a one-line analogy might work, right? And then also obviously link to it. All right, so for readability, bullet points for lists. Okay, sure. Consistent terminology. I'm not sure what the counterexample is, like where is that inconsistent? It would be helpful if it provided that feedback. Highlight key points. Yeah, there is no formatting at all at the moment except for, hash for H2 headings, for example. There is no italics or bold, whatever. Key sections. Yeah, so there is a summary, just not sure that maybe it's not a good enough one. Right, so Hedera is both, so that needs to be expanded upon. And this also, obviously. So these 2 points are the conclusion. Okay. Let's see. How shall I prompt it next? Okay, I know what to do. This is where one of the reasons why I said do not rewrite, because I would like to make these modifications first, and then subsequently, once I've made the modifications to the suggestions, then I will tell it to actually do the rewrite, which is my intent here. Alright, so this is my feedback, right? I'd like you to make the following modifications. So do not merge the two data structure sections. To do, leave them as to do, but acknowledge, and then break complex concept into simple parts. So yes, do include a simple or short analogy, but then avoid a full-blown explanation. Here's the revised draft. Okay, so is there a blockchain or not a blockchain? So instead of reading it here, what I'm going to do is copy. Hang on, how do you do that copy? Oh, it's still writing. Okay, so it's fully converted it into bullet points for everything, which I am not a fan of. Like, that is not the format that I wanted. Okay, so this is added links to something. Oh, it's just added a hash, so I guess it's a placeholder. Okay, great. So this isn't quite an article though, so I'm going to give it another feedback and ask it to write an article. All right, that's much better. Just for, I guess, completeness sake, I'm going to copy both of them. So I'm going to go back to the process and draft article 2, and then I'm going to also add draft article -3 prompt. All right, and that is draft article number 2. Head back to ChatGPT and get draft article version 3. Okay, and that's draft article version 3. So we can see version 1, written more or less by hand by me. Draft article 2 was ChatGPT's output after being asked to prompted to act as an editor and given the task. However, it did everything in bullet points, so not exactly what we were after. And then draft, actually, it does look very similar to my original. Doesn't seem like it has changed much. I'm not sure what was going on there. But anyway, draft article 3 has actually been rewritten as an article. So I think I'll end this particular video on there, like having acted as an editor. And so in the next video, what we'll be doing is some of this. So prompting to act as an SEO specialist, as an editor, social media specialist, etc. Right. So we'll go to that next, and we might split those into multiple videos as well. We'll see. All right, that's it from me for this one.